Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be looking at what if MCC had a Rookies event 2025 update edition, because last time I did this was late 2023, and when we look at the resulting teams from this roster, you're going to understand why I want to do an updated version, because this one didn't age the best. It's also definitely very outdated, you could say, in terms of the selections for who's included and whatnot. If you're not familiar, by the way, with what Rookies is, Block Wars has a iconic version of the event, which is called Block Wars Rookies. It is an event that opens the door for a bunch of new people, a bunch of variety people, to play in an environment that's a lot lower comp and a lot more friendly for them to be able to compete. That's the whole premise. So, for anyone who's not aware of what does MCC Rookies mean in this instance, it is a lower comp event, significantly lower comp event, where there is no limit to how many new people can be added. It's not going to be weird if there's half of the players are new, right? It's just an event where it's lower comp, friendly for anyone to really be able to compete that's not like a top player, and typically, there is one good player per team to kind of lead the players on the team around, you know, make sure that everyone is caught up to speed a little bit and has someone who's experienced to rely on. For the most part, this is not going to apply to every single team, because if you look at this, not every single team has a proper standout top frag, and more so, in the teams that I ended up making, which are over here, they're hidden behind this spooky, dark, block. You'll end up seeing that there are teams that don't necessarily have a standout top frag. So, when I start revealing the teams, you're going to notice something. What? Only half? I made 20 teams because I like rookies. I like the concept of rookies, and so I went a little bit ham. More so, I had a list of like 60, 70 people that I thought could be in a rookies, or it makes sense to be in a rookies, whether it's a captain or not. And I ended up, making the list of 40 and realizing, there's some people left that really could be considered for a rookies. Let me just make another 10 teams. So let's get into it. First off, on the red team, you got your Hermit-esque rep. This is mostly inspired by the recent, confirmation of interest from Doc to potentially play in an MCC. Obviously, if MCC did a rookies event, this is a great entrance type of team. Of course, this team is very big. Grian and Etho and Doc and Martin is a crazy team. However, one thing that you notice with Block Wars Rookies is that is typically the more popular version of Block Wars, in which I'm going to assume if this hypothetical is true, which is not the case right now for anyone who's curious, but this is a hypothetical where we're thinking, what if? Then we would assume this would be one of the most popular MCCs that you'll see. Maybe akin to Ender Cup, right? Ender Cup being a super popular roster, rookies could be the same thing because it's manually invited. It's not people signing up for the most part. You can have people show interest, but yeah. Either way, this team makes sense. I looked at the Doc interest thing, and in the Reddit replies, people said Etho is like the number one, makes sense to be with him. Rendog was also mentioned, and B-Dubs was also mentioned, but Etho was the number one. Grian was mentioned to make sense, and then apparently he also should know Martin, I think, from Life series or something along those lines. Maybe something else. I don't watch, so I don't know. And there you go. That's a team. Moving along, you have the next team. Not all of these are in order of making the most sense, by the way. The first 10 teams I put on colors that I thought made sense, and then I just started making teams. So here we have a little interesting mix that I actually think would work quite nicely. You have Lewis coming back in from Rivals EU with Smant coming back in from Season 4 KO. They're very good friends. They would make for an amazing combo together. Cub, who is a Hermitcraft member who is a little bit more open to non-family friendly stuff, which is the main thing with Lewis, because Lewis is not really family friendly for the most part. And also I think probably knows Smant, because I know Smant knows a few of the Hermits a little bit. And then Sasha, I think, just mixes well into this vibe. I think Sasha and Lewis should know each other. Sasha and Cub might know each other. And I think overall, combined, this team would be cool. Also, we'll say right now, I probably did not make these teams balanced, and I don't care, because it's not real. It's not real, all right? It's just for fun, and the teams are probably not entirely fair, but you do notice, like, this is significantly lower comp than the usual MCC. If you saw these teams get announced, you'd be like, whoa, this is very different. So that's the main goal, premise, etc. Moving along, we got another newcomer on this team, but one that you might not expect for MCC, but actually someone who I think, in an instance like MCC Rookies, would be a candidate to potentially join, being Doki. I think Doki and Gumi obviously is a very cohesive duo together. They're very good friends. And I think with Toby, that vibe is really fun, and I think Bad slots in pretty alright into this team as well. More so, Toby, Gumi, and Bad is a fun trio, and Doki and Gumi is a really fun duo, and Doki will work well with Toby and Bad. From, you know, the 2 times I've teamed with Doki, I can tell that she's pretty easy to work with in terms of being a good teammate, so this would be fun. Next up, you have a team that I think would be, like, kind of not a shoo-in, but more so like an approach of a team that would be a shoo-in. Obviously, Scott would be in this event. I think Scott with Jem and Cleo and Amy just makes sense. This just makes sense. I don't even really need to explain it. That's just like, yeah, I mean, that could work. That just makes sense, doesn't it? Moving along, you have the first team I actually made. The first team that came to mind for Rookies is this. Etoile, being a newcomer here, together with Foolish, Tina, and Ledwig, I think would be an amazing combo. I initially had Pokimane on the Ledwig slots because I think Pokimane recently did some French content thing with Etoile, and Poki and Tina and Foolish obviously also know each other. But I realized Ludwig makes a little bit more sense because I think Ludwig does do the content with Foolish and stuff a bit more often. I think, I could be wrong. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, but I think that might make a bit more sense. More so in terms of playing an MCC, Ludwig is a little bit more of a logical invite than Poki is. And yeah, this would be fun. I think Etoile is someone who I'd love to see make an appearance in MCC. I know there was a discussion on the QSMP not too long ago between Toby, Phil, and Etoile, I think. And maybe if Etoile ever makes an appearance, it would be with one of them. But I think this would be a very cool team as well. And Etoile is probably the best Minecraft player on this team by quite a decent margin. So despite him being the only newcomer on this team, I think as a top frag, he would do okay. This is kind of the example I was talking about, like, you know, they don't really have a lead player because Etoile is the newcomer and the lead player. So, moving along, you have another fun type of team, Timmy, John, and then 2 newcomers, actually, I didn't even realize, Jody and Sydney together as well. If you're unfamiliar, they are both in the bubble of OTV and Friends. And it would be cool to see Timmy back. John's become kind of a regular. He's actually technically the leader of this team in terms of knowledge. And I think this would be just super cool. That's about it. Would be cool. Moving along, you have a team that I think, you know, makes sense. I mean, 5 Up Saikuno is a duo that I think was talked about ages ago to happen in like MCC like 25 or something, like back in the day. And I want to see it happen at some point. They've teamed in Block Wars once. They've never teamed in MCC. So hopefully we see it happen again in something, whether it's MCC or Block Wars. I think it'd be cool to see them back. And then I had Ray on this team because I think Ray with Saikuno and 5 Up works really well. And I know Ray and Miyoung are really good friends. So, and Miyoung also played with Saikuno in an MCC at some point, one time. I think it was Pride. I could be wrong. It's either Pride or Underdogs, one of the two. So this would be cool. I think this would be fantastic. And I like it. I'm a fan, so make it happen. Next up, look, man, I have to... When it's time for Rookies, MCC Rookies 1, I gotta put Joe Bart on there. I know he's like one of the most requested people in terms of like, would be so funny to see him in MCC, mostly because he's in Block Wars, of course, right? And I think this would be really cool. I don't know how balanced this is because Sneeg is kind of an anomaly in terms of skill. I think in this environment he might be absolutely goated. And Joe is obviously like pretty good at the game, but not like insane. So I think in a normal MCC, Joe gets like 25th, maybe 20th. In this, he gets like 15th. I don't know. With Connor and Ethan Nestor, though, should be a banger. And then moving along, purple team. I wanted to put Chilled with Kara and Shelby makes a lot of sense. And I think Haley as a top frag there is good. I think she'll fit the vibe very well, of course. And yeah, I think this would be nice. And then finally, on pink, I actually do think Yeah, there's Pokimane. You have an all-women team, of course, with Hannah, SK, Lily, Pichu, and Poki. I had Lily and Poki as a duo because they have a podcast together. They're really good friends. And I think Hannah there obviously makes a lot of sense as like a female top frag. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's just good. And SK actually, I think, slots in quite nicely. But maybe a little strong. That's the only issue with this team is I don't know if it's balanced to have Hannah and SK on the same team, but oh well. I think it's cool though. I think it's fire. So I like it. And then moving along, because I made this roster, I was like, wow, this is such a cool roster. And then I had so many people left. So let's continue forward with the rest of the teams. These are not these are colored, but you'll see. So here we have Red 2. I just made like a United Kingdom based team, but it's like two Irish fellas and Tommy in it and Jack Manifold, which I mean this makes sense and this would be such a fire team. But like besides Jack, none of these guys really play MCC anymore. I mean that kind of applies to half of the other roster as well, but still, I mean it would be cool though. Moving along, you have Orange 2, which is like initially it was H-Bomb with Dan, Abe, and Ryan, but then I needed H-Bomb somewhere else, and I put Pete there because Pete and Abe and Ryan make sense, and then I feel like Pete and Dan probably know each other, at least faintly, because they've both been in Minecraft content creation for ages, so I think this would be really cool. I think this would be really fun, and also I think would be a not horrible team in terms of skill for Pete, because Pete is the best player that has been revealed so far by a decent margin. And Dan is pretty okay. In Ender Cup, I think he got like in the middle. Abe is like alright. And Ryan hasn't played in a while, but he's like not horrible either. So this could actually be a pretty good team. Give Pete a good team in Rookies MCC. I think it'd be funny. I mean, hey, I'm in favor. Moving along, you have Yellow, which you look, I wanted to make a Hermit team, and then I had Hermits elsewhere that I wanted to put together, and then I was like, oh, Jimmy should be in this too. So Joel and Jimmy, pretty strong duo, honestly. And then Tango and X, I think makes sense. That'd be fun. I think that could be a cool team. Moving along, you have two duos that I wanted to make happen. Initially, I wanted to do Joel and Lizzie, but I ended up picking JoJo over Joel for this because JoJo on the team above makes sense, but less than Joel, and then on this team below would have been whatever, right? So JoJo, Lizzie as a duo, and then obviously Impulse and Skiz makes a lot of sense as well. Not really needing to explain much more than that. Further along, we got the Phil's Minecraft team. Pretty much, I put him with three people that I think he makes sense with. First of all, obviously Fit MC makes a lot of sense. I wanted to see Fit in another MCC. Boom, there you go. Then I put Scar because they recently teamed, and I think vibe-wise, that's a great combo. And then finally, Mogswamp, King of Hardcore, I think, right? Isn't that what he's known for? And then obviously Phil is the hardcore guy. King of Hardcore and Hardcore guy on the same team. That's kind of goated. I think that'd be kind of cool. So moving along. Cyan team, similar to Red, just a bunch of people from the United Kingdom. And this would be funny as hell. I think this would be a really funny team. So there you go. I like it. Moving along, you got women team, where I realized I already put Cleo on a team, and I initially was gonna put, not Cleo. I don't know. I put one of the women hermits. I think it was Gem that I wanted to put here, but Gem is already on a team, so I put Michaela. There you go to round it out. There you go. Yeah, cool. Anyways, moving along, you got blue team. It's like almost Among Us morning lobby, but then Blau is there because he was there on my list of players, and it just, you know, he teamed with Janet, and I think vibe wise he'd be chilling on this team, so I like it. That's good. Purple team, you got I don't really know why I put H-Bob here. I just was trying to think of like a good player who's not like the best of the good players, which I think H kind of is in that tier of players, because I put Box and Toast on the same team because I think that would be cool, right? But then had Leslie as a newcomer because I think Leslie would make sense to be in an MCC at some point. And then I put H-Bomb because I think he would fit the vibe pretty well. And then finally on pink, just for you Minecrafters, Ashwag, Squiddo, Kabuto, and Darapchu. I mean, this might be OP. I have no clue. I mean, I feel like it'd be okay because Ashwag as much as he got like 5th in Rising 3, Rising 3 comp might be weaker than Rookies comp. So, yeah. That's the teams. I hope you like one of the 20 teams that are on the screen at least. Let me know your thoughts on MCC Rookies. Do you think it should happen? And if your reasoning is no because Block Wars does it and MCC would get called out for stealing, what do you think MCC should do to make this idea happen but not call it Rookies? Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.